Paralanguage in body language. Paralanguage is an important aspect of body language that refers to the way that words are spoken, rather than their actual meaning. Paralanguages are the nonverbal elements of communication that accompany spoken words. It includes things like tone of voice, pitch, volume, and rate of speech, as well as facial expressions, gestures, and body posture. These elements of communication can convey meaning and affect the way the words themselves are interpreted. For example, a person who speaks in a monotone voice with a lack of facial expression may come across as disinterested or insincere, even if the words they are saying are meant to be friendly or sincere. On the other hand, a person who speaks with enthusiasm, using expressive gestures and facial expressions, is likely to be perceived as more engaging and sincere. Some examples of paralanguage include the tone of voice. The tone of voice refers to the way in which a person speaks, including things like the pitch, volume, and inflection of their voice. For example, a person might speak in a high-pitched, excited tone when they are happy, or in a low, monotone voice when they are feeling bored or uninterested. Facial expressions. Facial expressions are one of the most important forms of nonverbal communication. They can convey a wide range of emotions, including happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, and more. Gestures. Gestures are nonverbal movements of the body or limbs, such as waving, pointing, or using the hands to emphasize a point. Body posture. Body posture refers to the way in which a person holds their body, including things like the way they stand or sit, whether they make eye contact, and whether they are facing towards or away from the person they are talking to. Rate of speech. The rate of speech refers to how fast or slow a person speaks. For example, someone who speaks very quickly may be perceived as nervous or excited, while someone who speaks very slowly may be perceived as calm or thoughtful. Here are a few components that paralanguage can indicate. 1. Emotions. The way that words are spoken can convey a wide range of emotions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, or excitement. 2. Sincerity. The tone of voice in which words are spoken can indicate whether a person is being sincere or insincere. Sincerity in paralanguage refers to the extent to which a person's nonverbal communication aligns with the words they are saying. When a person's paralanguage is sincere, it means that their nonverbal cues, such as their tone of voice, facial expressions, and gestures, match the meaning and emotional content of their words. For example, if a person says "I'm really sorry" in a genuinely apologetic tone of voice, with an expression of remorse on their face and body posture that indicates contrition, their paralanguage would be considered sincere. On the other hand, if a person says the same words in a flat, monotone voice, with a neutral facial expression and body posture, their paralanguage might be perceived as insincere. 3. Interest or attention. The way that words are spoken can indicate whether a person is interested or engaged in a conversation. 4. Deception. The way that words are spoken can sometimes reveal that a person is not being truthful, even if their words are themselves true. Deception in paralanguage refers to the use of nonverbal cues to mislead or deceive others. It occurs when a person's nonverbal communication is inconsistent with the words they are saying, or when it conflicts with the true intentions or emotions of the speaker. Some examples of deception in paralanguage might include smiling while lying. A person might smile while telling a lie, to seem more sincere or friendly. Faking interest. A person might nod their head and make other affirmative gestures while someone is speaking, even if they are not actually interested in what is being said. Disguising emotions. A person might try to hide their true feelings by masking their facial expressions or speaking in a monotone voice. Exaggerated gestures. A person might use overly enthusiastic or dramatic gestures in an attempt to seem more sincere or convincing. It's important to note that people may not always be aware that they are using deceptive paralanguage and may be using these nonverbal cues unconsciously. It's also worth noting that the effectiveness of deception in paralanguage can vary depending on the context and the skill of the person attempting to deceive. Please subscribe our channel if you want more videos like this. Press the bell icon. 5. Persuasion. The way that words are spoken can influence whether a person is persuaded by an argument or not. Persuasion in paralanguage refers to the use of nonverbal cues to influence the beliefs or actions of others. It is a common goal of many forms of communication, including advertising, public speaking, and interpersonal interactions. Some examples of persuasion in paralanguage might include using a confident and assertive tone of voice to convey conviction and inspire trust in the audience. Making eye contact and using open, inviting body posture to establish rapport and engage the audience. Using facial expressions and gestures to emphasize key points and add emphasis to the spoken message. Speaking at a moderate pace allows the audience time to process the information being presented. Overall, effective persuasion in paralanguage involves using nonverbal cues in a way that enhances and supports the spoken message, and that helps to build trust and credibility with the audience. 6. Culture. As with other aspects of body language, the way that people use paralanguage can vary significantly between cultures, and it is important to be aware of these differences to avoid misunderstandings. 7. Context. It is important to consider the context in which paralanguage is being used. For example, a cheerful tone of voice may be appropriate in a casual social setting, but it might be seen as inappropriate in a formal business setting. 8. Nonverbal leakage. As with other aspects of body language, paralanguage can sometimes reveal a person's true feelings or intentions even if they are trying to hide them. This is known as nonverbal leakage, and it can be an important aspect of body language to pay attention to. 9. Training. Some people may be able to improve their ability to recognize and interpret paralanguage through training or practice. This can be helpful in a variety of situations, such as in negotiating, sales, or customer service. 10. Vocal cues. There are many different vocal cues that can be used to convey emotions or intentions through paralanguage, such as pitch, volume, rate, and inflection. Vocal cues in paralanguage refer to the nonverbal aspects of a person's voice that convey meaning beyond the words themselves. These can include things like tone of voice, pitch, volume, inflection, and rate of speech. Some examples of vocal cues in paralanguage include the tone of voice. The tone of voice refers to the overall quality or character of a person's voice. It can convey a wide range of emotions, including happiness, sadness, anger, frustration, and more. Pitch. Pitch refers to the highness or lowness of a person's voice. A higher pitch might indicate excitement or enthusiasm, while a lower pitch might convey a more serious or contemplative mood. Volume. Volume refers to how loudly or quietly a person speaks. Speaking in a loud voice might convey confidence or assertiveness, while speaking in a soft voice might indicate shyness or uncertainty. Inflection. Inflection refers to the way in which a person's voice rises and falls when speaking. It can convey emphasis or emotion and can be used to add emphasis to certain words or phrases. Rate of speech. The rate of speech refers to how fast or slow a person speaks. A faster rate of speech might indicate excitement or nervousness, while a slower rate might convey a more measured or thoughtful tone. Overall, vocal cues in paralanguage are an important part of effective communication and can have a significant impact on the way a message is perceived and understood by others. There are many different types of paralanguages in body language, and the specific elements that are included can vary depending on the source. Some common types of paralanguages that are often mentioned in discussions of nonverbal communication include facial expressions. These include the various facial muscles that are used to convey emotions and intentions, such as smiling, frowning, raising eyebrows, and more. Gestures. These are nonverbal movements of the body or limbs, such as waving, pointing, or using the hands to emphasize a point. Eye contact. This refers to the way in which a person looks at or avoids looking at others when communicating. Body posture. This refers to the way in which a person holds their body, including things like the way they stand or sit, and whether they make eye contact. Proximity. This refers to the distance between people when communicating and can affect the way a message is perceived. Touch. This includes the use of touch as a form of nonverbal communication, such as shaking hands, patting someone on the back, or hugging. There are many other types of paralanguages in body language as well, and the specific elements that are included can vary depending on the context and the purpose of the communication. In conclusion, paralanguage in body language refers to the nonverbal elements of communication that accompany spoken words. It includes things like tone of voice, facial expressions, gestures, and body posture, as well as other elements like eye contact and proximity. These nonverbal cues can convey meaning and affect the way the words themselves are interpreted and are an important part of effective communication. Understanding and being able to recognize different types of paralanguages in body language can help people to better understand and interpret the messages of others and to communicate more effectively.